This is probably going to sound crazy, but I need to tell someone before I lose my mind. I was hanging up David's jacket from last night and felt his phone buzzing in the pocket. The screen lit up, and I saw a text notification from his friend Marcus that said, "Did you tell her yet about the pity thing?" What pity thing? I know I shouldn't have, but I opened his phone. The passcode is our anniversary date, which now feels like a sick joke. There's this whole text thread from today where Marcus is basically asking when David's going to come clean about marrying me because he felt bad for me after my last relationship ended badly. David's response was, "I need to figure out how to let her go peacefully like in those romantic movies where they realize they're better apart." I screenshotted everything because my hands were shaking, and I thought maybe I was misreading it. But no, 3 years of marriage, and apparently he only proposed because he PITID me. I put the jacket back exactly where it was and pretended nothing happened when he came downstairs for breakfast. He kissed my forehead and said "morning beautiful," and I wanted to throw up. He's at work now, and I'm sitting here staring at these screenshots, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this information. I already did something, and I'm not sure if I should have, but I can't take it back now. Has anyone else ever found out their whole relationship was built on lies? Because I feel like I'm going insane. Edit, people are asking what I did. I'm going to update this because I need to get the whole story out there. Update 1. Okay, so I guess I need to explain how David and I met because the context makes this so much worse. 2 years before I met David, I was in this relationship with my ex Jake that completely destroyed me. Like, Jake cheated on me with my roommate, emptied our joint savings account, and then had the nerve to tell everyone I was too clingy and that's why he left. I was a mess for months. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My friends were worried I was having a breakdown. So fast forward and I'm finally ready to try dating again. Downloaded a few apps, mostly just swiping to feel normal. Most guys were either creepy or boring, but then David's profile popped up. His bio was actually thoughtful. He talked about loving hiking and cooking and wanting to find someone genuine. His photos weren't gym selfies, just him doing normal stuff like walking his dog or at a coffee shop. His first message wasn't, "Hey," or asking for photos. He actually commented on something I wrote about loving obscure documentaries and recommended this series about deep-sea creatures. We ended up texting for hours about random stuff. What hooked me was that he seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me as a person. He asked about my job, I work in marketing, my family, my thoughts on things. No pushing for dates or being pushy about meeting up. When we finally did meet for coffee 3 weeks later, he showed up early, brought me a book he thought I'd like, and we talked until the cafe closed. The first few months were honestly perfect. He was patient about me having trust issues from Jake, never pressured me physically or emotionally, remembered little things I mentioned, brought me soup when I was sick, helped me move apartments without me even asking. But now that I think about it, there were weird little things, like how he always seemed to know exactly what to say when I was upset about Jake's stuff. How he'd get this look on his face sometimes when I talked about feeling worthless after what Jake did. I thought it was empathy, but now I'm wondering if it was pity. And this one time about 6 months into dating, we ran into his friend Marcus at a restaurant. Marcus made this comment about how David was such a good guy for giving me a chance after everything, and David quickly changed the subject. I asked about it later, and David said Marcus was just being weird. Oh my God, Marcus knew. He's known this whole time that David was with me out of pity. The proposal happened right after I had a really bad day where I found out Jake got engaged to the girl he cheated with. I was crying and David held me and said he wanted to spend his life making sure no one ever hurt me like that again. I thought it was romantic. It was pity. The proposal, the wedding, all of it. I was just his charity case. Update 2. So after I found those texts this morning, I couldn't concentrate on anything. I kept reading them over and over. By lunch, I was so angry I couldn't see straight. David texted me around 2 p.m. asking if I wanted to grab dinner tonight at our usual place. The same restaurant where he proposed. I just stared at that text for like 20 minutes, getting more and more furious. I decided to just get it over with. I called him at work. "Hey babe, what's up?" He answered, all cheerful. "We need to talk, come home now." "Is everything okay? You sound upset." "Just come home, David." He got home about an hour later looking worried. I was sitting at the kitchen table, with printouts of all the screenshots spread out in front of me. His face went completely white when he saw them. "Kate, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That you married me because you felt sorry for me, that our whole relationship is built on pity." He sat down and put his head in his hands. "It's not that simple." "Then make it simple, David. Did you marry me because you pitied me or not?" Long pause, then he looked up and said initially, "Yes, but Kate, you have to understand." I didn't let him finish. I started screaming. Things I don't even remember saying. About how he stole 3 years of my life. How he let me believe I was lovable when really I was just his pet project. How he's no different from Jake, except at least Jake was honest about not wanting me. David just sat there taking it, which made me even angrier because even his reaction felt like pity. Finally he said, "Kate, please. Yes, it started as pity, but I do love you now. I love the person you became. I love our life together." "The person I became? You mean the grateful little charity case who's so thankful for scraps of fake affection?" "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean, David? When exactly did pity turn into love? On our wedding day, our first anniversary, last week." He couldn't answer that. So I told him to get out. Pack a bag and stay at Marcus's, since Marcus seems to know our business anyway. But here's where I think I really messed up Reddit. After he left, I was still so angry. I kept thinking about how Marcus knew this whole time. How maybe other people knew too. How I've been walking around for 3 years being everyone's pity case. I opened Facebook and I posted everything. The screenshots, the whole story, everything. Tagged David and Marcus and basically aired out our entire marriage. It's been up for 4 hours now, and I have like 200 comments, and my phone won't stop buzzing. David's been texting me begging me to take it down. His mom called crying. My sister is driving over. I think I just nuked my entire life because I was angry. But honestly, part of me is glad everyone knows the truth now. Update 3. Okay, so I thought the Facebook thing would just be our friends and family seeing it. I was wrong. So incredibly wrong. Within 6 hours, my post had been shared over 500 times. Random people were commenting, sharing it to those marriage-shamming groups, posting it on Twitter. Someone even made a TikTok reading it out loud that got like 30K views. At first the comments were supportive. People calling David awful, saying I deserved better, sharing their own stories about fake relationships. I felt vindicated, like finally people could see what he really was. But then I started getting friend requests from strangers. People were finding David's work LinkedIn and leaving comments there. Someone found his company's Facebook page and started posting about how they employ manipulative liars. David's phone number somehow got leaked, and people were calling and texting him at all hours. His elderly parents were getting harassing messages on Facebook from complete strangers. My sister Emma came over that first night and found me refreshing the post obsessively, reading every new comment and share. "Kate, this is getting out of hand. You need to delete this." "Why? Everyone should know what kind of person he is." His boss called him today. People are messaging his coworkers. This isn't just about you two anymore. But I was high on the attention. For the first time in my life, I felt like people were on MY's side. After Jake, after years of feeling pathetic and unwanted, I had hundreds of strangers validating that I was wronged. So I doubled down. I started responding to comments with more details. I posted screenshots of David's texts begging me to take it down. I shared photos from our wedding with captions like, "Spot the groom who's only there out of pity." When David's mom called crying, begging me to stop, I recorded the call and posted it with "Even his family won't take responsibility for raising someone who plays with people's hearts." Emma stopped talking to me after that. She said I'd become genuinely cruel, and she couldn't watch me destroy people like this. My friend Jess, who initially supported me, started leaving concerned comments asking me to dial it back. When I snapped at her publicly for not having my back, she deleted her supportive comments and blocked me. But the internet mob was loving it. I was getting interview requests from podcasts. Someone wanted to write an article about pity marriages and use my story. I felt famous, powerful, important. David lost his job after 2 weeks. His company said the controversy was affecting their client relationships. He had to move back in with his parents because he couldn't afford his apartment. Marcus tried to defend him once in the comments, and I absolutely destroyed him. Posted screenshots proving he knew about the pity thing all along. Found his girlfriend's Instagram and messaged her about what kind of person her boyfriend was friends with. Marcus and David had been best friends since college. They're not speaking anymore because Marcus's girlfriend left him over the drama. I kept escalating. When David stopped responding to my tags, I found his new job applications online and started contacting those companies. When his parents changed their privacy settings, I found his extended family members. Even my own parents started avoiding my calls. My mom finally told me, "Honey, I understand you're hurt, but this isn't who you are. This cruelty isn't you." But it felt like me. It felt like the real me that had been buried under years of trying to be grateful and pleasant and lovable. The breaking point was when David's teenage niece posted on her Instagram story asking people to please stop harassing her family. She was crying in the video. I shared it to my story with "the family that enables liars together." That's when Emma drove over, took one look at me, and said, "I don't know who you are anymore, but you're not my sister." She left and hasn't spoken to me since. That was 3 weeks ago. Suddenly, I realized I was completely alone, refreshing a Facebook post with 15,000 shares, surrounded by the ashes of every relationship I'd ever cared about. I had won. David's life was ruined. Everyone knew he was a liar. I was internet famous for being wronged. And I had never felt more empty in my entire life. Update 4. So here I am 3 months later. I finally deleted the Facebook post last month after my lawyer said it could affect my divorce proceedings. The internet moved on to the next viral story, but the damage was permanent. David and I are getting divorced, obviously. He's working at some small company now making way less money. We had to sell the house to pay legal fees. His relationship with his family is slowly healing, but it'll never be the same. Marcus moved to a different city and changed his phone number. I heard through mutual friends that he's in therapy now. Emma still won't talk to me. My parents take my calls, but it's strained. Most of our mutual friends picked sides and it wasn't mine. I understand why. I'm in therapy too now. My therapist keeps asking me what I thought destroying David would accomplish. Honestly, I thought it would make me feel powerful instead of pathetic. I thought if everyone knew he was the bad guy, somehow that would erase the 3 years of feeling grateful for scraps. But it didn't. I still feel just as worthless as before, except now I also feel like a terrible person. The worst part is I've had time to really think about those 3 years. And David wasn't lying when he said his feelings changed. I was just too hurt and angry to hear it. He did love me. Maybe it started as pity, but he chose me every day for 3 years. He was patient and kind and never made me feel like a burden. He celebrated my promotions, held me through panic attacks, learned to cook my favorite foods. Jake cheated on me and discarded me. David married me and built a life with me, even if his initial motivations were complicated. I destroyed a man who genuinely cared about me because I couldn't handle that his love story wasn't perfect from day one. The internet praised me for exposing him and standing up for myself. But really, I just became everything I hated about Jake: cruel, selfish, and destructive. I lost my husband, my sister, most of my friends, and my self-respect. All so strangers on the internet could validate my anger for 15 minutes. If you're reading this and you're angry at someone you love, please don't do what I did. Don't let hurt turn you into someone you don't recognize. Don't sacrifice real relationships for internet points. Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. Final update, the call that changed everything. I was going to leave this post here, but something happened yesterday that I can't stop thinking about. David called me, first time we've spoken since the lawyer meetings. Kate, I need to tell you something. I owe you the complete truth. I almost hung up, but something in his voice stopped me. The pity thing, that wasn't the whole story. I never told you why I was on those dating apps to begin with. Then he told me something that has completely shattered everything I thought I knew. Final update, the truth about everything. David wasn't randomly on dating apps looking for someone to pity. He was looking for me specifically. He knew Jake. They worked at the same company for 2 years before I ever met either of them. David knew exactly what Jake was doing to me because Jake used to brag about it at work. Jake would come in Monday mornings talking about how he was draining your savings account bit by bit, how he was cheating with your roommate and you had no idea, how he was planning to leave you with nothing and make everyone think you were crazy. David said he started hatting Jake, but Jake was friends with management, so David couldn't report it without risking his own job. He was just this junior analyst watching someone destroy a person he'd never met. When Jake finally left me, he brought photos of me crying to work, showed them around like trophies, made jokes about how I probably thought I meant something to him. That's when David decided to find me. He spent weeks figuring out who I was from Jake's stories, found my social media, learned about my interests, my job, everything. He created that dating profile specifically to match with me. The thoughtful bio, the book recommendation, all of it was carefully designed to appeal to someone recovering from Jake's abuse. I wasn't on dating apps looking for anyone else, Kate. I was hunting for you specifically because I couldn't stand what Jake had done. But then what? Then I actually got to know you. And you weren't this broken victim I needed to save. You were funny and smart and stronger than you knew. And I fell in love with the real you, not the version Jake had described. I couldn't speak, everything was spinning. The pity Marcus was talking about. It wasn't pity for you being pathetic. It was pity that someone I loved had been put through hell by someone I despised. And guilt that I never told you how we really met. So David never married me out of pity for being unlovable. He married me out of anger at Jake and guilt about his deception. But here's the part that's killing me. Jake planned all of this. David said Jake had been asking around about me for months. Apparently Jake was furious that I bounced back so quickly after he left. He wanted to know who I was dating if I was happy. When Jake found out about David, he put the pieces together. Jake knew David had specifically sought me out. Jake knew about David's guilt. So Jake started spreading rumors at their old company that David was only with me out of pity. He made sure those rumors got back to Marcus. He orchestrated the entire thing to destroy my second chance at happiness. That text thread I found, Marcus had been confronting David because Jake had recently contacted him directly, feeding him lies about how David was trapped and just too nice to leave his charity case. David was trying to figure out how to tell me the truth about how we met without destroying my trust. That's what the "let her go peacefully" comment meant. He thought if he couldn't find a way to be honest about his deception, he should end the marriage rather than keep lying. Jake didn't just steal my money and cheat on me. He spent 3 years plotting to destroy my marriage from the shadows. And I helped him do it. I took his bait perfectly and burned down the only healthy relationship I've ever had. David said he tried to stop me from posting everything on Facebook because he knew Jake would see it and enjoy watching me destroy myself again. But I was too angry to listen. I asked David if Jake ever reached out after my post went viral. Long pause, he sent me one text, just said told you she was crazy. Read it, I don't know how to live with this. I destroyed my marriage, my family relationships, and my husband's entire life because my abusive ex manipulated me into it. Jake won again. And the worst part, even knowing all this, I don't know if David and I can ever come back from what I did to him. The damage is too deep. Some stories don't have happy endings. Some people don't get redemption arcs. Sometimes, you just have to live with being the villain in your own story. Comments are locked. I'm logging off this account forever.